Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here. So today DICE have just announced that they're dropping patch 2.1, so that's the first patch really of Season 2 tomorrow morning at 8 AM. I definitely don't think it's a coincidence that the Modern Warfare 2 beta has just ended and now we're getting content from Battlefield. Definitely a smart move on their part there. So now we've finished with Modern Warfare 2, at least for the time being, we can enjoy some new Battlefield content. So as usual in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the interesting parts of the patch notes. So we've got some massive helicopter changes here that should really change up which helicopter is the top dog at the moment. As most of you will know, it's the stealth heli. That's maybe going to change. Mouse input is possibly fixed. We're going to have to wait until we play tomorrow. And it looks like the Avancys has actually gotten a buff, not a nerf. Okay, so first thing is first, we will be getting the Renewal map rework, but we won't be getting the one for Orbital. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this because I know you guys have already seen videos, you've seen screenshots, and I mean, really, what is the point talking about it? Proof is in the pudding. Let's see what it actually plays like when we get our hands on the map tomorrow. So that's going to be in there, definitely a positive. We're also getting the second vehicle that was promised for Season 2, so that's the Polaris RZR. You can see some pictures of that now. It just looks like a pretty normal buggy. It doesn't have any weapons on it. It's probably going to be, you know, pretty fast and zoomy to just get you around the battlefield between flags and whatnot. Now we also have 3 new Vault weapons coming. So we've got the P90 from Battlefield 3, the Gol Magnum Sniper Rifle, which was definitely a favourite, and that's the Bad Company 2 one. It was also released in BR3, but this is the BC2 one, and then also from Bad Company 2, the M1911 pistol. So definitely a few classic weapons coming there. Hopefully they're actually going to be half decent and, you know, not like the M60 was. So before we move on to the vehicle changes, I did mention mouse input. So what DICE have done here is they've improved the input polling rate to reduce the aiming input latency. Now whether or not that is actually going to materialize as us actually feeling better mouse input or not remains to be seen. I'm looking at Enders. I'm sure he's going to put out a video on the differences. Personally, I'm just not that in tune with my mouse that I can really feel a difference, but apparently he is, so I'm definitely going to go and check his video out that he will almost definitely release tomorrow. Anyway, they say here, players who previously observed mouse input lag during gameplay should feel an improvement with this game update. Please continue sharing your feedback about your experience with us once you've been able to play. Alright, let's jump into the vehicle changes now because this is one of the major parts of this patch. So first things first, the 60mm flak weapon pod, which you can find on vehicles like the Wildcat. It's also on the MAV. It's in one of the gunner seats. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th gunner seat. Most people won't have this unlocked, but for those of you who have died to it, this was ridiculously OP. It could one-shot you as infantry through walls. It had a ridiculous range, and the explosion radius of it was just crazy. And the Flak Pod was actually designed as an anti-aircraft weapon, but inadvertently it was just really OP against infantry, so that's seen some pretty big changes here to deal with that problem. So velocity has been increased from 150 to 250. I know that sounds like a buff, but hold your horses. Detonation delay has been decreased from 0.15 to 0.02, so that again is a buff. Vehicle detonation radius, however, has been decreased from 10 to 2, so it's got a much smaller detonation radius. You're going to have to be much more accurate at it for taking out vehicles, and this is the big change here. The damage multiplier to infantry has been reduced by 0.47 to 0.05, so that's, what is that? That's like more than a 90% nerf right there. So this thing is barely going to do any damage to infantry now, so pretty much useless, only good as anti-air, I think. Alright, moving on to the attack helicopters, the Apache Warchief and the Super Hokum. So DICE say here they've observed that the stealth helicopters have become the dominant air vehicle of choice since their introduction in Season 1, and that's not really surprising since we can pick whatever vehicle we want out of all of the vehicles, so why would you not choose the best one? Anyway, that's, you know, that's a topic for a whole other video, and I have my own opinions on that. But they've basically buffed the attack helicopters here to make them a little bit more worthwhile of a pick over the stealth helis. So the 127mm anti-vehicle rocket pack, those are basically the best rockets against tanks, anti-armor, that sort of thing. These have seen the most changes. So they've had their velocity increased, the damage has been increased as well from 100 to 130, and they're now more accurate in shorter ranges. However, the replenish rate of them has been lowered from 1.3 down to 2, so they're probably going to be a lot more effective, but you are going to have to stay out of combat, and it's going to take you a little bit longer to regenerate them. Now, the 30mm gunner seat has also seen pretty big changes here, so the gunner rate of fire has been lowered here quite a lot, from 350 down to 200, so you're going to fire a lot slower, but on the flip side, the velocity's been increased, the damage, the start damage has been increased from 18 up to 40, and the end damage has gone up from 8 to 25, and in addition to that, the blast damage as well has gone up from 18 to 20, so every round from the 30mm gunner seat is going to do more damage, but you're going to be firing it at a much slower rate of fire, so the overall DPS, or the damage per second, should be pretty similar to what it was before. Now, they've also increased the overheat though as well, so you're not going to be able to spam it for as long as you could. Now, the Nightbird as well has actually gotten what I would call overall a buff here. So they've made some changes to the 7.62 miniguns. Obviously, the rocket pods have been the really easy to use weapon, and I've always been an advocate in Battlefield for vehicle weapons being hard to use, but more effective and do more damage, and the ones that are really easy to use, aka the rocket pods, should do less damage. This is what DICE seem to be trending towards here. So they've changed the minigun wind-up time to be a little bit lower. So when you click on your mouse or you press the trigger on your controller, the wind-up time before you can fire is going to happen a little bit quicker. So if you see a target and you want to snipe them quickly, hopefully that's going to be easier now. The wind down time, however, has been increased. So if you stop firing and then you want to restart, that's going to take a little bit longer. And this is really the big difference. The overall dispersion has been lowered. So if you compare like the Scout Heli in Battlefield 4 or 3 to the Nightbird in 2042, the miniguns in 2042 have crazy dispersion. They just go all over the place. In previous Battlefield games, they were just total laser beams. Now, it's debatable whether they should have been laser beams or not, but I think tightening up that dispersion a little bit is going to help people be a little bit more accurate with them. Now, on top of that, they've also increased the overheat of these as well. So basically, you're going to be able to spool them up quicker. They're going to be more accurate, and you're going to be able to sort of snipe infantry a bit quicker if you're accurate with them. But they're going to punish you more if you're inaccurate. So they're going to overheat faster. And like I said, the wind down time has been increased as well. So overall, I think this is definitely going to benefit players who are accurate with them and sort of know what they're doing. Now, we've also seen similar changes for the 7.62 miniguns on the transport helicopters, on the Condor and the Super Hind. So the exact same changes almost here, with the one or the two differences being that the damage fall off starting distance has been lowered by a ton. So the fall off start has gone down from 350 to 150, and the damage fall off end distance has gone down from 1000 all the way down to 300. So no longer will these transport helicopter miniguns be able to pick at you or pick away at you or even snipe you with the miniguns from ridiculous distances. Hopefully it's going to reduce those guys who just like to hover in, you know, the flight ceiling right at the top of the map in the helis as well. I really can't stand that kind of gameplay. It's super cheap. It's just lame, man. Just come in and join the battle. So yeah, overall some good changes there. Okay, next up, we've actually got what is a fix. So this is actually a bug that was in the game for the AM40 and the Avancys. So they were accidentally assigned the SMG headshot multiplier, which I believe is 1.2, whereas the normal LMG and the assault rifle headshot multiplier, I think the LMG one is the same as for the assault rifles. Correct me if I'm wrong down below, guys, but I think it's something like 2.15. according to the previous patch notes that we saw. So they've basically changed this now so that the AM40, which is an assault rifle, has the correct headshot multiplier, and so does the Avancys. However, the Avancys has not received a nerf at all. I fully expected them to increase the recoil of this weapon. It's just so easy to use, so accurate, especially at those longer ranges, and now that it's going to have the correct headshot multiplier, it's going to be even more bananas than it was before. So that's a massive surprise to me. I, of course, assumed that they would fix the headshot multiplier problem, but I thought they would introduce some nerfs for the weapon as well. So unless there are actually some hidden nerfs here that they haven't put in the patch notes, then this thing is going to be bonkers. Now, there is something pretty interesting that they put right at the top of the post here, actually just after the map rework, which is sort of the most biggest part of the patch, I guess you can argue. Underneath that, they've got this section that says the Liquidators Await, and it says a special event is coming your way during mid-October. We're looking forward to sharing full details with you at a later time, but for now, expect new earnable cosmetics alongside infantry-only gameplay with tight play spaces and intense close-quarters combat. And they've got a nice picture of some dude who looks like a more serious Deadpool. I guess that's one of the cosmetics that you can earn from what is presumably a new game mode. So yeah, that's interesting. Now, there's no big specialist changes in this patch, no buffs or nerfs or changes in any way to Crawford, which I kind of thought we might see because he doesn't really seem that great. Crawford, to me, let me know if you disagree with me there, but I just kind of used him for a while and then quickly put him down again. He just doesn't really seem like my cup of tea. Anywho guys, that is the majority of the important changes here, but as always I will link the patch notes down below so you can go and peruse them at your leisure. Thank you for watching the video today. I hope you guys have a good one. Leave me your thoughts down below and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.